Something is unraveling in Blake Lively's perfectly curated world. One minute, she's posing with cookbooks and pastel gowns, giving off wholesome mom with a Prada budget energy. The next, she's in court filings demanding her deposition not exceed 7 hours, fighting tooth and nail to control the narrative of a lawsuit that's spinning out of her grip faster than a designer shoe on a greased runway. And now, people are finally asking the question her PR team has been dreading. Is Blake Lively hiding something? Because the deeper we go into this legal mess with Justin Baldoni, the less polished Blake looks. The story she tried to spin, one of a silenced woman, bravely speaking out, is starting to crack. The headlines aren't calling her fearless anymore. They're calling her difficult, controlling, even toxic. Let's rewind. This was supposed to be a simple deposition. One day, a few hours of questioning, just another box to check on the way to trial. But Blake didn't want it simple. She wanted it precise, limited. 7 hours maximum, no cameras, no paparazzi, no Baldoni fanboys lurking in hallways. She wanted it on her turf. And she got it, sort of. After filing motion after motion, a federal judge ruled that Blake could choose the location of her own deposition. Not exactly a win, but not a loss either. Her lawyers said they feared media ambushes, flashbulbs, and gossip leaks. But let's be real. This case was already public the moment TMZ caught wind of it. What Blake was really trying to avoid? Losing control. Because control is everything to Blake. It always has been. From her outfits to her marriage to her press interviews, every move has been tightly choreographed. She doesn't just play the game, she scripts it. But this courtroom drama, it refuses to follow her lead. Her request to limit the deposition to a single 7-hour session came right after a major setback. One of her claims was tossed out by a federal judge. Specifically, her accusations against Jed Wallace, a PR fixer who Blake claims orchestrated a smear campaign against her on behalf of Baldoni. The judge didn't say she was lying, but he did say New York had no jurisdiction. Wallace and his company are based in Texas, and according to the judge, the campaign Blake described mostly took place online, outside of New York's reach. Translation: you might have a point, but not here, not now. But that didn't stop Wallace from threatening to come right back if Blake tries to refile. His lawyer already warned, if she drags him in again, he's demanding his own full deposition of her. And just like that, the control Blake was clawing to keep is slipping through her fingers. Because here's what's really going on. This case is no longer about who said what on set. It's about Blake Lively's entire public image crumbling under the weight of legal discovery. And trust me, she knows it. Behind the scenes, insiders are leaking like a punctured Aquafina bottle. Sources close to Blake say she's panicking, not screaming into pillows panic, strategic panic. The kind that turns your celebrity brand into a legal firewall. That's why she fought so hard to move the deposition, not just because she didn't want paparazzi, but because she didn't want the footage. The footage of her walking into a law office, looking flustered, tired, human. She needs to look controlled. She needs to look powerful. She needs the footage, if it leaks, to say, she's got this. Because the second the narrative flips to Blake Lively is scared, it's over. And guess who knows that better than anyone? Justin Baldoni. His lawyer went straight for the jugular, mocking Blake's concerns by suggesting her deposition be live-streamed at Madison Square Garden. Tickets, crowd, charity tie-in, full public humiliation. And while it sounds ridiculous, it worked. The public ate it up. Suddenly, Blake's very real concerns about privacy sounded like diva behavior. And once that word entered the chat, diva, it never left. Because now the headlines are calling her that, a toxic diva, a control freak, someone trying to game the legal system while pretending to be the victim of it. And in Hollywood, perception is everything. Blake's team tried to spin it. This is about protecting her safety, ensuring confidentiality, preserving the dignity of the process. But the court wasn't buying it, and neither were the fans. especially when the texts got leaked. Yes, texts. Justin's team subpoenaed every message Blake sent related to "It Ends With Us," including communications with Taylor Swift. And the judge? He let it happen. In one particularly cringeworthy exchange, Blake referred to herself as Khaleesi and called Taylor her dragon. It was supposed to be girl boss talk, empowerment, but in this context, it looked unhinged. Worse, Blake allegedly held a meeting about script rewrites at her New York penthouse, and Taylor Swift was there, or at least she walked in during it. Sources close to Taylor insist she had no idea the meeting was happening, that she walked into Blake's apartment expecting a casual visit and ended up in the middle of production drama she never agreed to be part of. That detail alone sent shockwaves through Swiftie Nation. Did Blake drag her best friend into a legal firestorm without telling her? If true, it's not just messy, it's betrayal. And reportedly, Taylor wasn't happy, not one bit. And now Blake's team is scrambling again. They're saying the messages were taken out of context, that the meeting was informal, that Taylor's name is being used as a distraction. But the damage? Done. Because this isn't about a single text. It's about a pattern of overreach, of manipulation, of control. Blake's lawyers have already been accused of foot-stomping in legal filings. Baldoni's side called them out directly, accusing them of using Blake's celebrity to seize control of the film, and now the courtroom. And when Blake's team argued for more privacy, Baldoni's lawyers fired back with emails showing delays, evidence disputes, and what they described as tantrums. They even accused Blake of failing to examine the hard drives they sent over, as if her team wasn't even prepared to sit for real questioning. So what does Blake do? She rebrands again. Shifts the focus back to harassment, back to retaliation, back to the original claim that started this entire mess, that Justin Baldoni made her feel uncomfortable on set. Now that claim is at the heart of her lawsuit. She says he and his team retaliated by launching a PR war, by hiring Jed Wallace, by unleashing a smear campaign. And while the court tossed the Wallace part out, for now, Blake's still pushing forward. Her lawyers say they have numerous options for holding him accountable. Translation: we're not done with you yet. But here's the problem. With every delay, every filing, every leaked text, Blake is looking less like a whistleblower and more like someone desperate to salvage a brand. Even Ryan Reynolds, her ever-loyal husband, is reportedly staying quiet. Insiders say he won't attend the deposition, won't speak publicly, won't play the PR husband role this time. And that's telling. Because when Blake Lively loses Ryan Reynolds' spotlight, she loses half her mystique. Her persona has always been wrapped around her marriage. The perfect couple, the witty banter, the casual cool, the couple goals. But this lawsuit is bigger than cute Instagrams. It's about credibility. And slowly, Blake's mask is slipping. She tried to file a protective order to block texts with Taylor Swift from being used. The court said no. She tried to dodge Wallace in court. The judge said maybe, but only because of jurisdiction. She tried to control the deposition location. That worked, for now. But none of it is saving her public image. Because people are finally asking, why is Blake Lively fighting so hard to control the courtroom? What is she afraid will come out? And why do so many people suddenly want nothing to do with her? This isn't over, not even close. Because as the trial looms in March 2026, both sides are sharpening their knives. The discovery phase will expose everything, every email, every call, every manipulation. And Blake? The real Blake is running out of places to hide. So now the date is set. July 31, Blake Lively's deposition. 1 day, 7 hours, her terms. But the question isn't if she'll get through it. It's what comes out when the cameras are off, the lawyers are locked in, and the real story is finally forced into the light. Because everything Blake's done so far has been about control, choosing the location, fighting subpoenas, demanding privacy. She's not trying to win in court, she's trying to win the narrative. But this isn't a photo shoot, it's federal litigation. And that's where the real danger lies. Because once this deposition begins, there's no curated caption, no aesthetic filter, no Ryan Reynolds punchline to soften the blow, just questions, long pauses, and the possibility that the Blake Lively, the public thinks they know, doesn't really exist. Especially now that the Taylor Swift situation is out. More and more, people in the industry are distancing themselves from Blake, not loudly, not dramatically, just enough that her calls go unanswered, her meetings get postponed. Her name disappears from casting shortlists. Because now she has baggage. The kind of baggage that gets your emails screened by legal, the kind of baggage that makes producers whisper, "She's too much risk, not enough reward." It's the worst thing you can be in Hollywood is complicated, and Blake knows it. That's why she's clinging so hard to control this deposition, because she's not just fighting for her case, she's fighting for her brand. But it might already be too late, at least in my opinion it is. Baldoni's team is prepared. They've called her out for foot-stomping in court documents. They've mocked her legal tactics as tantrums. They've laid out evidence delays, communication gaps, and what they claim is a strategy to exhaust the process until everyone gives up. They're not backing down, and neither is she. Blake's carefully built image is in freefall, and while she still insists this is about justice, about exposing harassment, the press isn't buying it the way they used to. Neither are fans. This time, she's alone. Her publicist, radio silent. Her husband, not attending the deposition. Her best friend, feeling exploited. And the court, just doing its job. This deposition might be 7 hours. It might be one day. It might even be at her chosen location, far from cameras and chaos. But when she walks into that room, no entourage, no glam squad, no soft lighting, it will be the most honest moment of her career. Not a role, not a brand. Just Blake Lively. Alone, under oath, and finally, without a script.